We are live. Good morning. Good afternoon. Thursday, 3 p.m. Thanks for tuning in live on Adobe Radio. Very special episode today. Zeke is no longer with us for the time being. I made that sound like he passed away. I realized that as soon as it came out of my mouth.
You also made it sound like that's why it's a special episode.
No. Zeke, we miss you already. Still, it makes it sound like he passed away.
He's definitely dead.
Yeah, he's definitely dead. However, we have a brand new intern with us today. Very special young man. His name is Arthur. Arthur, welcome to Wesam's World. He's 18.
Yeah, turning 19 in a couple of days, actually.
Oh.
Congratulations. Technically an adult, so no waivers had to be signed. Actually, we should actually look into him signing some sort of waiver now that I'm thinking about it. Other than that, welcome, Arthur. Really excited to have you part of the team. And also a special shout out to Letitia from Brazil, still helping us out as our intern from across the hemisphere, I guess you could say. Yeah, thanks, Letitia. We're global here. We're global. We're pretty fancy. The #1 show on Adobe Radio. Okay, Nick can't hear me, so he stepped out. Okay. Without further ado, founder, head teacher at the Prep, Theresa, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
I'm really, really excited to have you on. I recently just joined the Prep as a coach. Very honored. Thank you for having me on. And I got to shadow your class.
Yes.
When was it? Oh, my gosh. Tuesday.
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night.
Yeah, this
yes.
week's been crazy.
It has been crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, Thursday. It was Thursday.
It was Thursday.
It was Thursday, yes.
This week is insane.
All right. Amazing.
Thank you.
And I'm not just saying that because I work at the Prep,
because
okay?
I'm your boss. Yeah, no big deal.
No, seriously. Absolutely an amazing class. And it builds confidence for actors in a very real and positive way that they can see results from.
Yeah.
Because I've audited other classes where they build confidence, but they're not making any progress. It's fake, like, good job kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
With you, it's a rare gem in LA. And so I highly encourage people whenever they're in town to definitely take you up. And also you do East Coast mainly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you also do Zoom coaches. Super, super excited that this is available for actors everywhere. You teach everything from adults to children.
Yeah.
Amazing. Now, I just want a brief background so people can kind of learn how you got into it.
Oh,
how did the
yeah.
Prep become a reality?
Oh, my goodness. Well, so Jessie Clayton, who is my business partner for the Prep, I had a different studio and she was working for me there. And we decided, hey, let's create something just together. So we created the Prep, and it was like 7 years ago. We found a beautiful space. We started off in like very, very humble beginnings. We were each of our studios was probably half the size of this space that we're in right now.
Wow.
And we were sharing space from a dance studio we were renting from. And we were just doing singing lessons and acting lessons. And then it just blew up. Like we suddenly had like 500 students and we were like, we need a bigger space. So all of this was like, 2017, 2018, I think it was. So we found the most beautiful space, 4,000 square foot facility in Little Silver, New Jersey, which what you guys, I don't know if you've heard about, Netflix is building a huge new space. It's going to have 15 sound stages in it in Jersey. It is across the street from my studio. That's insane.
Primo location.
Insane. But we didn't know that when we opened it. So we have this awesome space. We have like self-tape studios. We're a SAG-approved recording studio in New Jersey. We're only one of two. So we have like 2 really awesome recording booths. And, when our students book like animation jobs or commercials, they can record in our studio rather than have to go to the city. So it's really cool for Jersey actors, voiceover artists who want to, not go to the city.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just a beautiful space. It has a performance space and everything. So yeah, so we opened that 2 weeks after the lockdown. Oh, I'm sorry, 2 weeks before the lockdown.
Wow.
Yeah. So we opened in March 2020. So we were like, yeah, we have this awesome space, this huge space. We're going to do all these group classes. We're going to, do performances and things like that. And then we had to shut our doors. But it was a blessing in disguise because we just completely went into virtual, like virtual only. And it just blew up from there. So, we have many, many, many clients from age 4 to 54 right now, all over the country. And we have in Mexico and Italy and France. It's pretty cool.
Oh, you're global too.
We're pretty global, yeah.
2 global businesses here.
2 global, yeah. Taking over the world. Watch out.
My brother, William,
Yes.
recently got into acting in the last year or so, and I was coaching with him. I was training with him in the beginning.
Oh, my gosh.
And he took your class. I forget when he took it, like the first time. It was
Yeah, I think when I came in July.
July.
Yeah.
And he's like, you would like Theresa.
Aw.
A lot of the same things you've been telling me.
Yes.
She's reiterating too, and she has her own style with it. And I'm like, that's great. Then I wasn't bullshitting you.
Yes.
Great. I'm glad you're hearing it from
got your
somebody else.
validation.
Yeah. I'm like, great. I'm not the crazy one. No, I'm kidding. No, it's been a great and such a fun journey coaching with my younger brother.
That's really special.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I'm really proud of the headway he's made, and he's an
so
artist at heart.
talented.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's an artist at heart. He's like a really sensitive soul.
Yeah.
Unlike me, I'm cold. Everything's like armored up now. No, I'm kidding. It's true. No, he's a great young man, and I wanna kind of break down a little bit the class that I got to shadow on
Yeah.
Thursday with you,
Mm-hmm.
because you hit on so many important things
Mm-hmm.
that I emphasize in my other classes that I've been teaching, and I feel it gets missed out on, or actors don't absorb it as much as they should.
Yeah.
First and foremost, what I love, one of the things you said, it's about the work. You
Yeah.
have to put in a lot of work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This isn't easy.
No.
Yeah. You can't be lazy.
No.
I don't work with lazy people. Yeah.
It's kind of incredible to me, and we can like branch off of this just briefly. This is our craft. This is our art form, right? I always think of like if a painter was paid to paint a landscape, and they're like, I just don't want to put a lot of work into it. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
I don't ever hear like other artists saying something like that. I feel, like a detailed fine art painter would be like, to the T, like every little leaf, or like the shadows, the mixing of colors, the arrangement of the everything. And for a lot of actors, 80 to 90% of like beginning actors, I feel like, oh no, I already memorized the lines. I got it. I can just go out there and just, I'll be funny, and it's like, no, what are you doing?
Stop everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Why? Why do you think that conception is the automatic for a lot of green beginning new actors out here?
I think, when I first came out to LA, well, I was out here, I celebrated my 21st birthday here. That was 20 years ago. But when I first came out here to start teaching my people out here in person, because I've been teaching them for a long time virtually, like some of them they're series regs and I've never worked with them in person before. We've only Zoomed. So I started working with some new people while I was out here. That was in July. That was like the first time I came out. It came out for like a week in July, and I just did a bunch of classes, and everyone's like, yeah, no, I take this class. I'm in class. And I'm like, great. And then, they come in and they're not feeling anything. They're being taught how to fake it, not feel it. They're being taught very well how to fake, very well, but they're not actually feeling anything. And that's where the disconnect is. You have to work on yourself when you do this. This is so, when you were talking about the artist and the painting, it's like, yeah, and that person wants to keep learning more and growing more every time, every painting, they want to get something new out of that, right? So every scene, every class, every self-tape you do, you got to learn something new about yourself, about the industry, about your craft. This is not just, okay, I'm just doing this and I have to go to work, right? You got to really immerse yourself, see what you can find. If it's easy, it's boring. If it's easy, it's probably boring. If it feels like you're not really working hard at it, it's probably bland. You're probably making all the choices that everyone else is making.
Yeah.
You know? So it's really, truly working on yourself and putting yourself in the work. That's a big thing that we work on in class.
And finding the fun in it.
Yes. It's very fun. Yes. It always has to be joyful.
The imagination. There's so many things now. I got to pace myself. I'm going to start, like everything's being held back. No, there's this fun aspect of creating the world, of creating the character. Like, why does, in the script it says your character is looking out the window here. Why do they look out the window here? Maybe there's some creative choice that you can figure out from your character's background. Okay, maybe in that, like there should be this like energy, this like live flame.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely, always.
It's missed out on so much.
It is. And like, just to give you an example of that, like environment work is so huge. I love environment work. It is just like, it will change everything. You know, you're not just standing there talking to someone. Stop standing and just looking and staring at someone and talking to them. You have to acknowledge where you are, where you're coming from, where you're going. All of these things factor in. So like, just as an example, I have this 12-year-old dude and he's going to be in a new A24 movie. So his self-tape, he's supposed to be, the scene was he's walking through a school, but it's nighttime, and he's meeting this chick who is like really into this this book, and he sees her like across the cafeteria. So he's like, the whole beginning of scene 1 is just blocking. It's just walking through the school, you know, and most people, they're gonna skip through all of that. This kid, we were like, we gotta take, schools are creepy as hell at night. They're so creepy at night. And it's A24 horror. It's coming out actually next, the end of this year. It's really cool. And he goes, I'm gonna get a backpack and I'm gonna pretend like I had to stay after all day. And it's like nighttime now. And he's like, keep looking over his shoulder. And like kept hearing things, because you know, when you like think about it, like go back to like school. If you ever had to be there at night, right, in your elementary school or your middle school, right,
terrifying.
Horrifying, like actually horrifying. Yeah. And you hear something, you're like, whoa, right? So he incorporated that in the entire intro, right, before he even said the first line, and incorporating her environment and really bringing that in throughout the whole conversation he was having with her. There was that running sense of urgency of like, I'm in school at night, you know, and he's still looking around, and he booked it. And when he got on set, the director said, I want you to do exactly what you did in your self-tape. Exactly. And he was like, okay, because they loved that, like, he was looking around and that it was just so creepy. And it was just like bringing that sense of environment in, and that tone was already there, you know, and it makes our imaginations run wild.
Absolutely. And there is something that I like to push in my in my classes or when I'm teaching or in my own work: specificity.
Yes.
Okay, you're at a coffee shop. What kind of coffee shop?
Yeah.
That makes a giant deal in how you're speaking with the other person. Are you waiting for them to come in? Yeah. There's a scene in the Sunday class that I teach at, and she was like, I'm at a coffee shop waiting for my significant other to come in so I can break up with them. And I'm like, how long have you been waiting there? Are you early?
Good.
Are they always late?
Good, yes.
Which coffee shop is this? Can you think of a coffee shop that you would want to break up with a significant other that you've been dating? How long have you been dating? 3 years? 1 year? 6 years? Like, it all makes a difference. And also, like, I don't know if you've ever been in a coffee shop where, like, the next people are seated right next to you, or is that one where it's like there's like a bunch of seating, or are you on the far end of one? It's empty. You knew it was going to be empty at this time. Are they always late and then you show up early and then all of a sudden they're early dressed in a suit and you've never seen them dress in a suit before? Now that's thrown you. You see how many things now that you can add that even though like the audience or the director might not know exactly what you're thinking, it's going to be real.
Yeah.
And alive. And so I kudos on the environment work that you brought in there. Voice work. Oh my gosh. That thing you brought in, like whenever someone's being fake, you can immediately tell.
Oh yeah. It's the curse of being the acting coach. It's a curse of being an acting coach, but it's also a curse of being someone who really observes human behavior, right? So you can tell right away. I'm sure you're similar, where if you pick up the phone, you're talking to someone, you know they're lying immediately. You don't even need to be looking at them, right?
Customer service.
Yeah.
If they really care or not.
They never care. What are you talking about? They don't care about you.
Sometimes sometimes every now and then there's someone who cares for me. I'm lucky.
You're so lucky.
Yeah.
That's very, very awesome. But it's the voice work, and if you're, a 35-year-old woman and you sound like you're 17, right? You got to work on your voice. Mm-hmm. If you're, entering that space as a young male actor and you're entering your 30s, but you still kind of just like, yeah, I knew it, like, man. Like, you got to work on your voice, dude. So all of that matters, is so important.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Imagination is part of that having fun aspect.
Yeah.
And I tell my students, you can fail here. Yeah. Feel free to just go for it.
Yeah, good. That's great.
Look stupid here instead of in the testing or the producer session. Like,
yes.
go above and beyond. Even if something might not work, try it.
Yeah, because this is a space. It's a safe space. I always say that in the beginning of class. This is a safe space. Use this. Fall flat on your face. We will pick you up. Okay. Use this to get out of. You don't have a deadline. You're not on a self-tape. It's not a live producer session, right? Just go explore. Try something different. Try something new. Stop playing it safe.
Yes.
Right. And that's where you grow. You grow in that space in class.
Yeah.
So important. I'm glad you do that too. It's so good.
Repetition. Are you in terms of doing it over? What's your thought? Because I actually didn't get to talk to you about, or it wasn't brought up in class. So I just wanted to get your feedback on repetition.
It's everybody's so different, right? So like one of my dudes, he was in he was a series reg on a big Netflix series. When he came into, we were prepping for the producer session. Actually, we were prepping for the network test and the chem read, and he just had to do it over and over and over again, because for him, the way his mind works, that works for him, right? So do it over and over again and finding new things every time, and finding new energy and new life in it every time, right? But some of my actors hate that. Some of my actors are just like, no, it has to, they have to do it. It's got to be that first take energy or that second or third where you're just really like exploring it, right? But most of the time, the first take energy, it's the weirdness, the great odd stuff that's going on. If you've put in all the prep work and you just let it go and you just like have that first take, that's what we really strive for. We're really working on getting that first take energy, because a lot of the shows, when you get on set, you don't always get a second take, right? No. So really so you're ready. You're ready to go. You're ready to nail it. You're ready to just like dive right in and just feed off of that fresh life that's in front of you.
Theresa, do you know how many times I've been on set where director's like, hey, great, this is the last shot. We only have like 2 takes.
I know.
I'm like, cool. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. All right. Great. Let's do it.
You got to prep so hard. You got to prep so that you don't have any regrets. Because when you book the job and you get on set and you're like, yeah, this is it. And you're like, oh, I just wanted one more, and you don't get it. You could have left your guts in the first take. You could have left your guts on the floor in the first take.
Yeah.
So we're really striving for that first take energy. Yeah. Repetition is it's just different for everyone. I only have probably maybe 5 to 10% of my students like that.
Hey everybody, real quick, I want to give a special shout out to Brzezinski Photography. Really recently, I had to get some new headshots because I have this wonderful beard now, and I was able to do a couple sessions with Jenny from Brzezinski Photography, and I have to say, I absolutely love the experience. I love the shots she got. And we also did these really special stylized shots. And they were really cinematic. They were fun. They were full of energy. And she's been so gracious. She's giving Wesam's World listeners a very special deal. All you have to do is email brzezinskiphoto@gmail.com, mention Wesam's World, and you get 2 looks for only $275. It's fun, it's easy, it's simple. I know headshots can be stressful sometimes, so if you want to go to some place where you can feel totally comfortable and get the best possible looks, check out Brzezinski Photography. My first series regular role, I had the first season a lot of van regrets. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Van regrets?
Yeah, I call them van regrets, or I've heard someone call them that before.
Oh,
where
no.
Everything's wrapped up, right? You're getting driven back to base camp.
Oh, that's funny.
And you're just looking out the window, and you're like, shit,
That's
should
tough.
have done that.
Man.
Like, why did I not? Oh, that would have been so much better. And then your scene partner's right there, and they're like, oh yeah, that would have been better. And you're just like looking out the window like this.
Terrible. That is awful. You should never feel that.
I know. I think it's also it being my first series regular.
Yeah.
And I'm still like, how could I have made that perfectionist brain, or like I want to play more? But it is what it is. You learn with every experience.
Well, that's another whole topic, perfectionism. I would say majority of my students have, some level of perfectionism. I would think, but you have to ask yourself, like, why is the bar so high, right? And what would I do if I just brought the bar down a little lower? Just a little lower.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about this more.
Yeah, let's talk about this.
I think you're talking
you might
to me
need.
right
I
now.
think I'm talking to you.
You're
Yeah,
talking to me
I'm talking
right
to
now.
you.
Is it okay then if I want to do it again because I feel like it adds more value to it in a certain way?
Yeah, if you want to do another take again, is what you're saying?
Yeah, like I just feel like something crucial to the character is missing, or see, it just depends on the situation, really.
Everything's so different.
Yeah.
Everything's so different.
I can't give a specific example.
Let's go into let's talk self-tapes for perfectionism, right? And like the people who are like, oh, I have to do it like 18 times to get it right?
You're right.
Yeah. If you find yourself in that space, you got to take a break.
Okay.
After you do it, after the 4th time, the 5th time, if you're trying to get something, you're trying to force something, you got to stop what you're doing and step back, take a break, come back to it. Look at the scene again. Go back to the text. Go back to your character development work. Go back to all of your text analysis, right? And really say, why am I being so hard on myself? Why am I being so mean to myself? Be kinder to yourself. You got to trust yourself. Yeah? So when you get up there and you're really going for it, you're able to just live and breathe in the scene and stop trying to force something to happen. Because the second you start forcing that and trying to go for that, well, I want to hit it here, I want to do this here, I want to do this here, you're losing all the magic of the scene. And we're feeling that. We're going to see that. You can't fake that. No. Can't hide that.
I'm not crying because of what you said. My eyes
I know,
are getting
I saw that.
I was like, my eyes are getting watery. I don't know why. Teresa.
No. I'm so sorry, dude.
It's so real. Yeah, I like to go through a checklist when I feel like a scene isn't working.
Yeah.
Stakes high enough? Is my objective high enough? Let me play with pace.
Yeah.
Is the tone correct? Core belief. Like, I kind of go through this like mental checklist, like, okay. And usually that solves it for me.
Good. That's good. Everyone's so different. There's no right or wrong way. That's the thing about all of this. There's no one way, right? Everyone is so different. And whatever works for you, that you're finding brings you the best out of you, then you do that.
Yeah. I think having an actor be in tune with who they are is also important.
Yeah,
so that they can bring
major.
their organic self to a role. And that's hard for a lot of people for a lot of personal issues.
Yes.
And okay, I'm gonna. All right, here we go. Wesam's editing brain is coming into play right here, so we stay professional. I had a student in a workshop that I was doing start to come out with personal problems immediately that they're having, and I had to address that. I am not, unfortunately, a therapist or a psychologist, so I can't help you in that sense, but you should definitely go see
Absolutely
someone who could help you with those things, because I gave the analogy, it feels like there's a wild horse inside you that hasn't been tamed or broken yet, and it's running free and you can't control it, and it's causing some damage. So
Yeah.
highly recommend that. Have you ever had to encounter something like that?
Every actor should be in therapy. Every single actor should be in therapy. I have 11-year-olds who are series regs who are in therapy because, you know, some of the things that you have to tap into for certain roles, it's important to be able to talk that out. You know, there's a lot of really great resources in New York, I'm sure in LA as well, where they offer therapy for actors, and oftentimes it's free. There's some really great resources online if you look into that. It's part of the work you're doing on yourself, right? Because if you're blocking stuff, if you're not able to, if you don't want to, you know, go back to a part of you, if you don't want to feel something, if you're not allowing yourself to feel something because you want to try to block it out, you don't want to go back there emotionally, right? That's the work you need to be doing on yourself, right? It's part of your craft, you know, really getting down to that. But yeah, when something happens in class and it's something where someone's sharing something really emotional, you say that they're going through, we see how it can work for you in a healthy way. Mental health is so important. At the prep, we actually spent a lot of time getting our teachers certified in mental health training for professionals. So
that's great.
Yeah, we did it with Dr. Michael Jacobs. He's one of our vocal instructors at the prep. He is based in New York, and he just got his doctorate actually. So he did an entire course for our instructors on you know, how to work with actors who have depression, who have major anxiety, who have perfectionism, clinical perfectionism, how to work with child actors and their parents and that relationship, and making sure that it's all healthy. It's a healthy environment no matter what, because that's a safe environment, and that's when you can really thrive and really grow. If anything is forced, if anything is false, if anything is, you know, in a dark space, it's not healthy. It's not healthy.
Right.
You shouldn't be doing this, you know?
Yeah.
So it's really important. Mental health is so important.
Yeah. In college, oh my gosh, at a certain point, there's something about, I was ready to leave college and go work professionally because it felt like, and it is what it is. I hope I don't come off cold. I'm just going to be real with you, Theresa.
No, be real all the time.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to be real with
you.
you. Please don't fire me. I'm not this mean to the clients.
I trust you. Don't worry. Yes. Tell me.
I couldn't stand it.
Yeah.
At a certain point, because every session, somebody's crying, somebody's losing it, and I'm like, I'm paying $100+ per acting class. I just want to act. I don't want to hear about your problems. No offense.
Yeah.
I want to be in there and just acting. Why does this have to be about you? And my scene partner's crying, and I'm just standing there. My teacher's trying to console, and I'm like, oh my God. It's frustrating.
Horrible. It's horrible. Yeah, I know. I've been in those classes. Yeah, I know it. I know it. You got to do the work at home. Do that work on yourself at home so that when you get to class, you do the work. You do the work with your partner. It's not about you. You got to be a generous actor. It's not about you, right? Do all that stuff at home. Yeah. That's your personal work. We don't need to know all of that.
No.
Your coach does. Your instructor. It's important for the coach to know that, but your scene partner doesn't need to go through all of that with you.
No.
Yeah. So I get that. We've horror stories of, university programs and conservatory programs that just like are so outdated, and everyone's just like, they feel like they're wasting time. I had someone leave one of the top conservatories in New York after her freshman year. She was like, what am I doing? And now she just got her equity card. She's in a play with like Tony Award winners right now. And she's 20 years old. Yeah. And it's just like, if you know what you want, you go and you get it. You don't need to be in a 4-year conservatory program or like coming out like hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's great for some people. Some people need that. Some people need that structure. They need that discipline. They need to learn all of that. That's very important. But if you're already there, if you're all ready to work, get into a really fire class, spend the money on that class, and go and work. Get out there. I went to a 2-year conservatory program because I knew I didn't want to be stuck anywhere for 4 years. And 3 days after I graduated, I booked a national Broadway tour because I knew I wanted to work. That whole 4th semester, we just auditioned. And it was awesome. And it was a really great experience. And I didn't want to be stuck somewhere for 4 years. I didn't want to be in debt. And I did it, you know? Everybody's so different, though. Some people need that structure. Some people aren't there emotionally, or, you know, they're not emotionally mature enough for that.
Right.
But if you feel like you are like, I am in this class every day, I am in this university or this college program, and it's supposed to be one of the biggest college programs in the country, and I feel like I'm wasting my time. And I have people all the time tell me that. And they come out, they don't even know how to self-tape. They don't know anything. They just were pounded on the head with Meisner for 4 years, you know, and they didn't expand anything. They didn't even touch TV film sides until like the last 4 weeks of their training. You know, it's just like everything needs to be relooked at just in general with a lot of these programs and what's happening.
Yeah.
That's just my thought on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad thing.
Yeah.
I think re-examining and adjusting, evolving, improving.
Yeah.
It's hard for a lot of people to do that, especially when it's been working for a certain amount of time, and then circumstances change, and then you're like, why are the things that I've been doing not working anymore? They should be working. I'm going to stick with those things because they worked before.
Yeah.
And that causes a lot of problems down the line.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
Been watching a lot of Kitchen Nightmares.
Kitchen Nightmares.
Yeah, that's a lot of people's issues on the show.
Oh, wow. Okay. I like that you relate that to acting. It's great. I mean, you know, similar industry, I guess.
A lot of people on there need therapy too.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Reading. Oh my goodness. The amount of actors who don't read.
Yeah, it's horrifying.
Read scripts. Read a lot of scripts.
Yeah.
You should be reading at least a script a week.
A minimum. Mm-hmm.
And that's if you have a busy week.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I tell everybody that, especially right now, there's no excuse. You need to not only be reading, you need to be reading a play a week and a screenplay a week. That's what I challenge everybody to do. Play a week, a screenplay a week. When I was growing up, we didn't have all of this available to us online, right? You guys have Scribd, you got everything, right? You got all these awesome websites. I had to go to the Lincoln Center Library for the Performing Arts and sit there and read plays.
Yeah.
Like you can't, there was no way to even get screenplays back then. Like it was almost impossible. So there is no reason for you not to be reading all of these incredible plays and screenplays that are out there right now. Learn who the writers are that you love. Read bad writing. Read really bad writing. Learn what you like, learn what you don't like. Be inspired by new writing. Find new genres that you didn't think you would like.
Yeah.
And find new writers. That's always very fun.
Who do you like right now?
Ooh. In terms of
Play or it's TV, anything.
I am actually and I'm so excited about Appropriate, which is coming to Broadway with Sarah Paulson.
Okay.
And that is Brian's, I can't remember his last name. I'm obsessed with that. And I kind of looked into him a little bit, and I like his work. I think he's doing really well. I would say, I don't know. Everything is like, there's so many writers and there's so many great writers. It's hard to really like narrow down in terms of like screenplays, like TV film. Also, God, who do you like?
Very controversial.
Oh,
Very controversial. I don't even. I'm like, I don't have the energy to deal with the comments about it, but
Okay.
I'm just gonna say it. My favorite film of all time is written by David Mamet,
oh, okay, yes, of course.
and I like his weird, specific tone writing,
Yeah,
and it being translated to screen with Red Belt and how it incorporates jujitsu. And one of the themes in it is there's no situation you can't get out of. And it talks about jiu-jitsu and life in that situation. And Tim Allen, by the way, best performance ever.
no way.
Have you seen it?
No, I need to.
Teresa.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't-
always working. I need to see that.
Tim Allen, I'm like, why don't you do roles like this?
Wow.
This is amazing.
There's more to him than the Santa Claus, is what you're saying.
Oh. Whoa. Teresa, Santa Claus is a classic here. First one.
First one is pretty fire, I will admit. Yeah.
The other ones, I think I actually last winter I saw the other ones where it's like a clone of himself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, they make like the robot, like Santa Claus, and then there's Jack Frost in the third one. It
I didn't
goes
see that.
off the
I
rails.
love that you know that.
It goes. This is my childhood.
Okay.
I grew up with these.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then I think there's a series nobody watched that
Yeah.
came out, but
There's a new one. That,
yeah,
There's a new one, and his daughter is playing his daughter on it, right?
I think so.
Yeah, his real life
I know that
daughter
he
is
goes
it?
in the past and sees like other Santa Claus and stuff like that.
Okay. That's
How extreme can you guys? It's like, what an adventure.
this is a franchise.
This is, yeah.
Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Santa Claus. um. Oh. Yeah. Tim Allen is just. Yeah, he's actually really good at it. And the guy Chewie, I don't know how to say his last name. He was in 12 Years a Slave. He was the lead guy. Chewie. Can somebody please, if you don't mind, look up his name because I always butcher it, and it's such a interesting last name. Anyways, this is my favorite film of all time,
Okay, cool.
and the ending always like makes me tear up, cry, goosebumps.
Nice.
I like when I'm watching a movie and I don't know where it's gonna go.
Yeah.
I'm like, where do you go from here?
Love
Where
it.
do you? Also, if you like horror, I love found footage. Incantation, it's an Indonesian film. Oh no, Taiwanese. Excuse me.
Ooh.
Taiwanese horror film, which is it was just incredible. That had a moment in there was like, where is this going?
Nice.
In a good way.
I need to see that.
Yeah.
Or looking at how to pronounce the name of British actor
Ooh.
and filmmaker Chu Tao
Chewie
Oh,
Edgy 04.
Edgio4.
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 Chewie Edgio4.
Wow.
Really good actor. Really
Wow.
good. Top tier.
I will look. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah. What were we talking about? This happens on the show sometimes. We
That's
branch off.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went on a tangent.
Or looking at
We
how
were
to
talking about mental health, and then we
was
went
gonna-
into this.
Okay. I got something for you.
Yeah.
How do you did something in the class which I was really impressed with, forecasting the next series of TV shows and,
yeah.
and movies. How do you do that?
Oh boy. So I coach about 200 self-tapes a month. Right? Well, right now it's about 15.
200 self-tapes a month.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. For ages 4 to 54, don't forget. So I'm seeing a lot of material. And it's not just TV film. It's also voiceover, and it's also theater, right? So you see the trends in what's happening, right? In what kind of roles that they want the young adults in what kind of roles they want the 30, 40-year-olds in, right?
Yeah.
So the I call it the IDGAF energy, right? You guys all know what that means. I teach kids, so I'm not going to say it.
No, that's fine.
But
I'll say it. No, I'm kidding.
yeah, Wesam's like, I'll do it. Take one for the team.
Yeah.
So that IDGAF energy came in really hard with Euphoria. Like those kids are just like, yeah, whatever. Just like I came off the street and I'm just like in a show now. I'm just like, doesn't even matter. Like I'm just here. What do you want? Right? Like, why are you bothering me? Why is this camera in my face? You know? And that energy is just, oh my God. It killed it. It killed it. I have an 11-year-old girl. No, she's 10, sorry. She would come in and just slay that. She did not care, and booked everything. Everything. That's why actors always say, like, it's always the roles that you don't care about that you book, because just everything's down. You don't care. You don't have that energy, right? It's not like, hire me, right? It's just like, I'm here. What do you want? And like people are like immediately, of course, the casting director's like, oh, who is that? I need to know them. They don't want me? What? They don't want this? This is interesting, right?
Yeah.
So that IDGAF energy is really, really trending. It's trending for a while, but now as we're entering this election year, we're entering this next year in front of us. There's a lot of things that are happening in the world right now, and we're going to be seeing a lot of more, I think, edgier, angsty. I think angsty is going to be trending. I think aggression roles are going to be trending. I think we all are going to want to see a hero. We're all going to want to see a rebel. We're all going to want to see someone that we want to root for, right?
Yeah.
Are these all the roles you want to play? You want to play all these roles? Yeah. Yeah. You will. I have a feeling you will.
Maybe not.
So in terms of like, your NBC dramas and all those episodics, you're going to see a lot less police shows and more lawyer politician shows for the next year. It's going to be interesting. It'll be really cool to watch. So like I was telling you guys in class, get used to that kind of language. Read the scripts. Read the lawyer scripts, right? Go and get used to that lingo because you're going to be able to need to spit it out, especially people your age. The actors your age are going to be able to need to do that and be comfortable with it.
How do you not get burned out? You?
Oh, me?
Yeah, because it takes a lot of work. At least mental bandwidth.
It is, yeah. I don't know. It's just I never recover from this flight from Jersey to LA. I never recover. It takes me like 48 hours to recover, and then I'm like, okay, I'm good, right? So right now I'm a little sleepy, but when I'm going, so like I'll start taping at like 8 a.m. with actors, and like it'll be virtual, and some I have in person, and it's just like I'll be doing like an insane like emotional, like the 19-year-old girl is like, just lost her father, and it's like this really intense scene at like 8 a.m. right? And then edit that, send it out, and then 9 a.m. I'm doing like a really cute little Disney show with like a little 5-year-old, and then edit that, send it out, and then at 10 a.m. it's like okay, I have a Broadway callback for Wicked, right? And then we're doing that, and we're doing all the vocals for that, and then prepping all of that work, and then they hop on the train and go to the city, and then 11 a.m. I have a tape for like a new Blumhouse horror film, with like a 25-year-old. So it's like that, it keeps me going, like mentally, just like what am I approaching today? What do we need to attack? It's like solving a puzzle every day. And I always do it back to back. I don't take breaks. Like my students always laugh about it. I don't take breaks. I do it back to back because I like to keep it going. The second I have a break is when I can like reflect on it, and it slows me down. So I like to always keep going.
So no burnout.
No burnout. No.
So that was no burnout. All right.
Well, you have to like usually like I'll turn it off, and I'll watch something. I'll watch a show or something, and just like escape for a little while, and that's kind of how I decompress. But it's just the excitement of like the students booking the jobs, and you celebrate with them, and like you're prepping a series reg, and you're prepping a whole season. It's just the excitement of that just keeps you going. It's just adrenaline.
What's the positive carryover then into life itself? Working on all these scenes, working with all these actors.
Yeah.
What's the positive impact of that?
I feel so fulfilled when my students are happy and they're growing. And every time, just watching people grow and become better and stronger and become interesting actors to watch, actors you want to watch on TV and you do watch on TV, and then you go see their movie and you're like, God, that was good. Like leaving your mark in that way, like through the work, and being able to enjoy like great work and watching beautiful performances. That's what I love.
I really like that answer.
Thanks.
That's really great.
Thanks.
That's really great that you found that kind of purpose.
Yeah, I know.
That's why there's no burnout.
Yeah, probably.
I love that. The flying from LA to New York is a real thing. It's only a 3-hour difference, but when I was shooting Law and Order, I was flying in and out between each episode because I didn't want to hang out in New York. Plus, I was getting my yoga certification teaching training program at the same time. And so that was interesting to balance all that. Because you know what it's like shooting a show. Sometimes you're needed just for 2 consecutive days, and they're like, hey, you're in the next episode, but we don't film that for another 10 days. And you're like, well, I don't want to just hang out here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to go back and work on stuff.
Yeah, so you were going back and forth between episodes.
Yeah, I flew something like 25 times in like 6 months.
Oh my gosh.
Because I had also shot, I shot an episode for The Equalizer that I'll talk to you about after off air.
Okay.
And then another episode for Made for Love out here.
Ooh, okay.
But then there was an NBC pilot that kind of kicked things off that shot in Mexico. And that was the beginning of all the traveling for like 6-7 months.
Wow.
And so built up those miles, which was great.
Nice.
But yeah, the travel jet lag is real.
Yeah. Well, how did you not get burnt out? Or did you?
I love working.
Good. That's great.
I wasn't burnt out on set, but
Yeah.
when I'd get home, I just be like, I just want
Oh, yeah.
to zone out.
Mm-hmm.
I need to play like an hour of a video game or just watch YouTube videos for a little bit.
Yeah.
It was rough. And doing the podcast too at the same time. Like,
Wow.
so yeah, that flight is real.
Oh, yeah. I don't know why.
What time do you fly out?
Oh, I fly early morning. I'm a psycho. Yeah.
I would take the 6 a.m. flight out of New
yeah.
York always.
Always.
Earliest flight I could out of here. No, out of here I would take not the earliest, maybe mid-morning flight out of here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, that's I'm glad I shared that. Sensory work. That's something I wish we could have
Yeah.
talked more about during the class. You brought that up. What is your
Ooh.
sensory work like? It was very interesting to me. You piqued my attention with it.
Yeah. So sensory work I do with my actors who I've had for a while. I don't just do it with anyone. I do it with people who like I really, we're in tune. We've been working for a while together, and they just feel like they want it. They're ready. It's only when people are ready. You can't like just do it just to do it. You got to be ready for it. Sensory work is just like a deep meditation into connecting the breath and the mind and the body and finding where you're holding tension and where certain emotions lie in your body, finding where you hold those emotions in your body and being able to tap into them. If you're blocking anything, if you're like have any blockages, if you have any trauma, if you have any sort of blocks in your kind of like emotional world, we chip away at those walls through sensory work. So it's really intense. Certain people, every session is completely different. And some people, some young women need like empowerment sessions. So we'll just focus on like empowerment and like, why do I still talk like a little girl? And when I'm 35 years old and I need to be doing these mother roles now and like I'm not a mother. So how do I find that, side of me? And really just tapping into it there, just kind of going into the mind and really being truthful to yourself. It's kind of like, my job is to strip away all the BS to get to the raw, real person, right? And then sensory work comes in being able to just break through that and really like understand why you are the way you are. One of the first things I ask after 30 minutes of relaxation stuff is we go into who are you? Who are you right now? Not who you think we want you to be, not who you think the casting director wants you to be, not who you think your significant other or who I want you to be, right? Or who you even want to be. Who are you right now? Like, who are you? And just like so many people don't even just stop and think about that stuff. We don't really take the time to stop and say, who am I right now? What am I doing in this world? What do I want out of this world? Right? What do I want out of my career? And just be really honest with yourself and just slow down. Take the time to slow down and really self-reflect. And then afterwards, just, you're never the same. It's always like, it's just, you see there's a lot of clarity and it's just really cool. It's cool to experience.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How can you ground yourself and connect with a character if you don't even know who you are?
Yeah.
Then you don't have a barometer of what's real.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly that.
That's a hard question to ask yourself. Who am I? Because you're going to start immediately, the things you don't like might start popping up.
Yeah. And those are the things that make you.
Yeah.
You gotta see them. You have to see them. You have to stop blocking them out. Because we hold on to so much. We don't realize it.
What if you're perfect?
I never had anyone ask that. That's a good one.
I'm a psycho. That's what it is.
What if you're perfect? There's like, I would need 20 more sensory work sessions with someone like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then supplemental psychologists, therapists.
Oh,
on the
yeah,
side.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Observing
Yeah.
security. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. No, sensory work's great, especially because you find new parts of yourself and you just, it really feels empowering. It's exciting.
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah.
And I think for people who don't do that, who haven't done that work on Who Am I,
Yeah.
or who haven't really connected with themselves, that's uncomfortable, to say the least.
Yeah.
That's why I recommend for actors to do stuff like yoga, martial
Oh, yeah.
arts,
Big time.
stuff that really help you connect to the present moment. And just experience life. Like, you don't want to, like, go do other stuff other than acting so that you have stuff to pull from as well.
Yeah.
Go experience something, try something new. You know, do something a little scary.
Yeah.
Try a jiu-jitsu class with one of your great friends on Sundays.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh.
I don't know what you're talking about. I got frail bones. They would snap. They would snap in half.
We'll talk about it with
Yes.
Edmund. Edmund's coming. We have a jiu-jitsu black belt coming in after you.
Oh.
He teaches my jiu-jitsu classes. So I'm trying to I'm peer pressuring him to join me in my
At
classes.
least you admitted it's peer pressure.
It's big time peer pressure.
yeah. At least you're big enough to admit it's peer pressure.
I'm. You know what? That's because I've done some sensory work on myself.
That's
and
great.
I know who I am.
Good. Yeah.
I'm proud of you.
Peyton's changed ever since he's joined the show.
Oh.
He started booking a lot of acting roles and all this stuff, and he just kind of we call him like Hollywood now.
Oh,
So,
he's all Hollywood. Very nice.
yeah. Okay. I know you have a hard out soon.
Yeah.
But time has flown by the way.
Yeah, yeah.
What I like, we're not even like. We're basically halfway through the stuff that you brought up in this class, and it's so fruitful what was brought up by just the discussions, by the scenes we saw, and I love watching moment befores
Yeah.
with actors.
Same.
I'm a big proponent of that. I feel, especially when you're in the room, I know we don't do a lot of in-the-room auditions anymore, but that moment before really helps me keep that in mind in the audition waiting room
Oh, yeah.
and really focusing in on this for that energy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's missed out on a lot of actors.
Oh, yeah. I know. It's so weird. I'm shocked when I see people, like when I get new students and I make everybody send me tapes. Like I'm by agent manager referral only. So when I get a new student I've never worked with before, I say, hey, send me some of your tapes that you're really proud of, you know?
Oh.
And almost all of them never have a moment before.
Very
And
odd.
they're, yeah. Well, but that's, that's part of it. And then we start working.
But then you added something, moment after,
Yeah.
which I
moment
love.
after,
Like,
thanks.
scene continues on.
Yes.
Even after.
Leave us wanting more of you.
Yeah.
The scene doesn't just end. It doesn't just fall flat. It's not just over. Leave us wanting more. Leave us wanting to go, whoa, 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 whoa. Where are you going? Wait, I want to see 6 more seasons of that person. I want to watch 2 more hours of that person. Inspire the writers to want to write about you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Where are you going immediately after this? What are you going to do? Who are you going to call? Who are you going to text? Who are you going to yell at? Who are you going to hug? Like, all of those things matter.
I've had actors do perfect, but like a great self-tape.
Yeah.
And then as soon as their last line is done, they're like, was that good?
Oh,
And they look right in the
no,
camera like, oh, dude,
no.
what are you doing? What are you doing?
No.
Just,
No.
what are you doing? I can't even edit that.
Oh my god. No.
Real quick, our time on Adobe Radio has come to an end. However, the show continues on. Make sure you tune in tomorrow to YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts to listen to the full episode. And if you'd like to sign up for some of the prep courses, they can go to
theprepnj.com.
theprepnj.com. And if they want to follow you at Theresa
Pittius, Pittius. Yeah, or you follow at theprepnj.
Great. All right. See you guys next week. Show continues on. Here's something I feel is one of the biggest struggles for amplifying your work or taking your work to that next level is, okay, you've done all the foundational stuff. You know what the scene is. All your beats are there. It's grounded, but there's nothing special about it.
Yeah.
What's going to separate you? So that balance of making really unique choices that still fit within the scene.
Yeah.
Is that just trial and error in your experience? Like for actors, they just got to build up to that, or is there something connected with tone as well, like understanding tone?
It depends on the piece. I mean, it depends on the actor too. It's always so different. But if you're looking at, you did all the prep work, right? You feel like you're really connected, but you feel like the scene is falling flat. You got to say, okay, ask yourself a few things. Obviously, all of the things you just said, but ask yourself, why is this character needed in society right now? Who needs to see this character right now?
Oh, that's interesting. That's an interesting
What's
question.
the purpose of this character in the story? Yeah? Ask yourself, how do I want the other character I'm talking to feel? What do I want to get out of them? What am I expecting out of this conversation? Right? All of these things matter. Because you go into, everyone always beats everybody, all these actors over the head with like, intention. What's your intention? What do you want? But like when we talk to someone or we go into a conversation, we're kind of expecting it to go a certain way. And if we're not getting back what we expected, we're going to react to that. Right?
Yeah.
So kind of like going in with expectations of like, oh, okay, I kind of know how this is going to go. This is going to go this way. Right? But then something changes. There's conflict. Right? I always say, look at the text, right? You have the text, you have the conversation and the words that are being spoken out loud, but there's a whole other conversation that you're having that is not being spoken. There's a whole other script. What is that? Right? So that's the money right there. Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah, but don't plan it out. You cannot plan it out. It has to just happen organically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I don't know what's going on. I'm getting emotional. No. I feel like to really tune into that, you have to have a good understanding of, and I don't ride skateboards or surfing, but this is the only, like when you're riding the wave,
Yeah.
that's what, like, you can't think too far ahead. You're kind of really present, maybe thinking a second ahead, if that, So I don't know. It comes with, I don't know. I feel like you have to have experience too. Am I wrong with that?
No. It's a lot of my newer, like my greener actors also, you can really find that as well in the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that? Like,
It's just using your imagination. Like I said, I said this in class, your imagination is everything. Like if you're like, oh, I never had cancer. How do I play a cancer? It's like, you can imagine what that would be like. Take yourself out of this world, put yourself in a brand new world with all these circumstances around you. These new circumstances are around you. It's you, but you're in this other place and this is happening to you in real time, right? How would you react? How would you feel? What would you want? How would you want to overcome this, right? And it doesn't have to be like, oh, I never felt it. Oh, it's like you got to use your imagination, right? So today I'm doing a crossover class. I like to do crossover classes with my my legal 18s and my teens, my advanced teens, with 18 and up to play teens. So like I have like a 28-year-old playing a 16-year-old on a Disney series right now, and I have a 24-year-old playing a 14-year-old before the strike on a major series also. I want my young adults who are in their, 19 to 29 era, who are still playing teenagers because they look it and they sound it and they feel it. I want them to experience go back and see the teens and really see the imagination and the work in that, right? And see real teens reading and read with real teens, right? So I do these crossover classes because they remember like, oh yeah, that's what it was like. I'm adulting too much, right? Or I'm getting into like this like too serious of a space. I forgot what it was like to be in high school, And then my teens who are like, we're coming for your jobs. It's very fun. But they watch these young adults and they learn from them also. It's really, really special. And then today I'm doing a crossover class with kids and adults because a lot of times like you can do the kid class, they don't get to read with adults. And when they get on set, they're reading with adults and vice versa. The adults reading with the kids. So I usually have a child guest artist come into my advanced adult class in New York. So it reminds everybody of, oh my gosh, it's just play. It's imagination. This is what it's like. These kids can handle it. If you're doing an emotional scene with them, they can handle it. Don't be afraid. Some of them are stronger than you, you know? And really being able to work together no matter what your age, because it's an art.
Yeah. What do you think of like preconceived notions? And I think that might be like an obstacle to some for sometimes like you said, the cancer. Oh, well, I've never had cancer, and so well, you can imagine it, and you've also seen people who've had cancer, so connect those two somehow in your mind.
Yeah.
But also, I feel with the same thing with preconceived notions of, oh, this is a tech guy, so they've got to be a certain way, instead of it being your way if you were into tech.
You can't judge your characters, people. Can't judge them. You gotta put yourself into it and say, how would I be in this? How would this change me? Doing this daily life. Do the daily life. Do the you wake up in the morning to when you go to bed as the character. What are you going through, in that profession if you're a tech guy? What does your family say about you? What does your significant other say about you and your job? What do the people who don't like you say about you, right? So you think about, okay, what is everyone around you saying about you? And then what versus what you know about yourself in this role, in this character.
That's so specific, and I love that. That aspect of what are your other coworkers, what are other people saying about you in your job. I like that a lot. I really, really enjoy that. I don't know. There's something about specificity. I always push that because when you get specific, that's where I've noticed all my clients and all my students, and even for me, that's where the really unique choices happen.
Oh, yeah.
I'll give you an example. I got to audition for this great pilot for CBS. My colleague and friend, Eric Olson, he sent me out literally a last minute. He's like, you should read for this. I'm going to have casting. Can you do it in the next few hours? I'm like, yeah, sure. And my character is a lawyer, and he's meeting this hooker in the scene. Okay, this prostitute. And my parents used to own this restaurant, okay? And the scene, I was like, oh my God, I know this lady in the scene. Nice. I know this lady in real life. And there's this lady who used to come to my parents' restaurant in Oklahoma years ago. Her name was Brown Sugar.
Oh, amazing.
And my parents' restaurant was in North Tulsa, which is, it can get kind of sketchy, We had a lot of different characters come in, and Brown Sugar would come in. And she was a sweetheart, but she was a little cray-cray. And we would see her walking the streets, and like, there's Brown Sugar. Hope she's doing okay today.
Oh, my goodness.
And she was a character. And having that specificity, like, oh, this isn't Terry. This is Brown Sugar I'm talking to. Oh, it just brings something different.
Absolutely.
And that no writer can write.
Yeah.
But you're elevating the text, and I don't know. There's that's where I find the fun.
Yeah, you got to know who you're talking to. If you cast an actor that if you can cast a very well-known actor that in the other role, if that'll help you, or you cast someone like Brown Sugar that you personally know, right? And that'll help you with all of that.
My brothers right now listening to this are cracking up because
they know Brown Sugar.
Oh, we all know Brown Sugar in my family.
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
I hope she's doing okay.
I hope she hears this.
I hope so too. She was kind of old at the time too, which is very unique.
She sounds amazing.
I remember one time we're like, "What's your real name?" She's like, "Brown Sugar." I'm like, "Okay, great." I'm sure that's what it says on your driver's license. Okay,
amazing.
Great. We have time for one video. We're gonna keep this PG.
Okay.
And
thank you.
Let me. I sent you the videos. I believe it's the first one. This is something I find very interesting, and there's a little story. Whenever actors have to incorporate a weapon into their self-tape, I find it very interesting what actors do, and
Same.
just for a little laugh, let me make sure it's. Wait a minute, play it. Yeah. Okay.
Wow.
So.
Wow. That is not what I thought I was going to say.
Okay. What? So, I'm fascinated that they're making the sounds.
Incredible.
Now, here's a fun story. For Star Wars, I believe it was, Ewan McGregor. Am I saying that correctly? He was making the sounds of the lightsaber as he was.
Oh my God.
And the director had to go, hey, you got to stop.
Sorry, you needed to
So-
end that immediately.
It's from the
Wow.
professional to the, you make the sounds. And so what are your thoughts? I would love to know if there was like a real audition like that.
Oh, holy crap.
What would you say like about the sounds? Definitely not make them, right?
Well, yeah, so I guarantee neither of those actors has ever held a firearm ever,
Right.
or even watched any kind of military training video, which are easily accessible on YouTube. You don't have to go to the shooting range, okay?
Yeah.
When it comes to the sounds, when you're actually shooting, you don't want to make a sound because you're so focused on what you're doing. So if that were supposed to be funny, they did a great job,
Right.
But in terms of like making noise when you're using a weapon, oh boy. So I always say when it's a serious scene, obviously I really hope that wasn't serious, but I feel like it was. When it's a serious scene, or like if this is like an apocalyptic like end of the world scene, which is by the way my favorite genre ever. I love end of the world.
Really?
Stuff. Yes. So
Why?
like what we're living right now is like,
Oh, okay.
I'm like in it. Like this is, I have always loved end of the world, like natural disaster stuff. Like I don't know, I'm weird. I just like
No, I
like
love
what
it.
would you do? You know,
Yeah.
because you think like what would I? Oh yeah, I would do that too. Oh no, I would never do that. Oh, they're gonna die. You
It's
know,
an atmosphere to
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
like such a vibe. So, I always say to my actors, I gave a really awesome scene to a couple of my actors in New York, and it was actually the transference of a gun. So it was the girl was saying, "Take my gun," to the guy that she was with, and was like, "You need this," right? I always say if you have a weapon in a scene, that is its own character. That's another character in the scene. That weapon has the weight of a completely other character. That has its own life in the scene. That weapon represents so much. And that is, you need to treat it as another character in the scene.
Yeah.
So that usually is how people are able to. It's totally not even related to this at all.
Yeah. No.
Although
It's-
that was magical, I will say.
I gotta say, the old lady going bah bah. I'm like, the gun just changed properties.
Oh
in her
yeah,
hand,
no.
and
then
I love that.
I think she went to like a 50 cal at one point. I was
Yeah.
like, what is happening?
What? We don't know.
I don't know what was going on.
It brought me so much joy.
Yeah, it was so great.
I know you have a heart out. I wish I could
do,
talk to
yeah.
you a lot more, but
Same.
thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me. And we're so happy to have you at the prep. Anyone who wants to work with Wesam, seriously, it's theprepnj.com/Wesam, I believe, is how people book you for
Great.
sessions.
Yes.
And I'm excited to work with you in class on Tuesday. I'm
Same.
pairing you with one of my actors from a really great Broadway play who is out here working in LA right now.
Oh, great.
You guys are going to do a really crazy scene.
I can't wait to
I'm
get it.
psyched. Yeah, I'm psyched.
Can I get it a little bit beforehand so I could, or no? You want it? the
I'll
night
give it to you tonight. Yeah,
Tonight?
I'll
Okay,
email
thank
it
you.
over tonight.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And again, it's theprepnj.com and Theresa Pittius on Instagram, and on Instagram it's the prep, right?
At the Prep NJ, yeah.
NJ. Great. Peyton, play us out real quick. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning into the show. Really appreciate you all. If you enjoyed it, leave a comment below. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the bell icon if you're watching on YouTube. And if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, just hit the subscribe button. And leave us a good review. That goes a long way in the algorithms and all that jazz. Always remember to listen, think, and then talk. Bye.